Good morning or afternoon. I guess it's afternoon, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's afternoon. Well, good day, everyone. Real pleasure to come to you and be able to talk to you and help you get yourselves well. I thought we had a pretty good level 2 class, and I enjoyed that. We've done a level 2 before, but a small 3-dayer years ago. So we're getting a chance to see kind of how it's going to work and how we're going to put it together. Finish doing this, and I like the spiritual side of that. I'm going to try to put the spiritual video up. I don't know if all of you would appreciate that, but those that were there, I thought we only had a short session of that, and we did talk about love and things, and I think I would put that up on the YouTube for you guys. Warning: if you are offensive with spirituality, don't watch it, because it's talking about God and spirituality and how that is tied into your beingness and your ability to get well. And it doesn't matter if you're atheist or don't believe in anything like that. Sometimes it's better if you wipe the slate clean and just start from just looking and observing and starting to grow with what you see, not with what you think. And we've been talking a lot about getting out of the mind, and a lot of you get that and understand what's being said there and the importance of that in terms of getting yourself back and getting a hold of your mind and controlling that element that you're using to create with. So I wanted to get a chance to go through some of your questions because it's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to do this video. We have a guest here from Holland, and she was at the class, and we had a good day yesterday with all you guys in here. It was a fun time. Okay, so we have a question here from Leslie, and let me see, she said, I am new to all of this, but I believe you are right on with your knowledge. Thank you there, sweetheart. When you just stop and you just think this out and you start looking at how the body's made simplistically, start from an overview, a simplistic overview of why the nervous system exists, why the blood system exists, and why the lymphatic or sewer system exists, and how you think the body's working with that. Because remember, even in anatomy and physiology, we still have the world of theories. So look a little differently, and you will begin to see the simplicity of how all the body works in the same way a community would work. Your local town has a sewer system and it has a water supply. Restaurants, which is your blood and kitchen. Your sewer system is your lymphatic system. You got all your different governmental offices, which is true in the endocrine glands. So you start to see how the body is representative of how life is outside of that. In spirituality, there was the thought that God just simply reflects itself down. Everything is just a reflection of itself in all levels. And just like how the body works is a reflection of how towns work, is a reflection of how the cosmos works, and that sort of thing. About 5 years ago, a specialist and other doctors over a 3-year period gave me 11 CAT scans. That's unforgivable. 11 CAT scans, and I'm sure they're not in the new digital types where it's half the radiation. 11 CAT scans is not even good there. I don't know, what do we got? Almost 200 rads maybe per scan. That right there is cancer causing, and she had 1 is considered cancer causing. She's had 11 of them. 3 of them are eyes, to which 3 swollen lymph nodes by my right lung. Well, again, see, the thing is that people wouldn't have to go through this if they just realized that it's the lymph system that is the problem, and that system is what our focus is here. And getting into that system is vital because lymph nodes and all this, of course, all tie into the lymphatic system. They're the septic tanks of the body. You get the lymph nodes backed up, of course, and then the sewage backs up to the cells. So it really starts backing up from where? The kidneys, controlled by the adrenals, and it just backs up through the whole body here. By the way, the lymph nodes were okay. Needless to say, I got breast cancer. I refuse to go to these doctors anymore. Probably a good idea, sweetheart. I have a lump the size of an orange in my right breast and cancer through my mammary glands. I am a vegan now, vegetarian for 20 years. and have been drinking carrot and veggie juice for a year now. And this is where I made my mistake too. I had a swelling in my body and I went to carrot juice, which is what we used to do back in the old days. But see, it's like we're talking about in class. You guys are going to take this, and some of you are going way on out there, and I just love that. And you see the difference. This girl, for a year now, she's been doing carrot and veggie. Had she been doing grape juice for a year, she wouldn't be writing this letter. So that's the problem with veggie juice. And people have to get over they're using the veggie juice to try to remove tumors. Wrong type of food to get into the body and have an astringent effect. Also, you must understand that you got to get into your kidneys and the adrenals on top. Get those filtering, and then that tumor will have a pathway out. But the cancer keeps growing. That's because you're not moving your lymph system, sweetheart, and you're using the veggie juice, which doesn't have the power for deeper work, which is what you need. Plus, you have to consider the role of the kidneys and the adrenals. And that, if you can't get the adrenals to trip up the kidneys, you can't get this tumor out. So this is essential work. When you're working on the lymph system, the kidneys and adrenal glands are a vital part of this issue. So how do I stop it from growing? It's not growing, it's backing up. This is sewage, simple sewage backing up. And this is acids, so you're damaging. It's all that inflammation from all that acidosis, and it's just damaging more cells and more cells and more cells and more cells. And matter of fact, remember, this is systemic, so your body's backing up all through it, not just in the breast there, but it does show that the right breast, of course, the right kidney is probably more at issue than the left. How do I break up the large, hard lump? Now, here's another thing. You can use castor oil packs and stuff like that on these lumps. Hot and cold compresses would be okay, or hot and cold applications. But really, getting that kidney and adrenal opened up on that side is super key. Also, there's a video we did, the neural lymphatic points. Work on those neural lymphatic points down your spine and start trying to get that lymph system to halfway drain through kidneys that are probably not allowing it to take place. But work on all that together, so you're moving this body as much as you can and moving that lymph as much as you can, because that's the secret. You can't filter, you can't remove tumors. If it gets too much, sweetheart, I'd recommend pulling it with a black salve or having a lumpectomy if it gets too big. You don't want it to get any bigger, and especially if it's the size of an orange. I would also highly recommend you shift your thinking from vegetable juice to fruit juice, and I would really hit the grapes and lemons. You go on a 40-day grape and lemon fast, sweetheart, and I'd probably start it as soon as you get this if you haven't started it already. That's the key. Real important. You're using the wrong food. And then you want to get on the lymphatic herbs, you want to get on the herbs for the kidneys, you want to pop those adrenals up, get those adrenals to turn on the kidneys and start filtering. That's key. And I'll also clean up my GI tract. That's all tied too. So just what we're talking about in these videos, get in your body and go after those things, and you'll be successful at getting this. Your lymph system's backed up. But you've also burnt yourself with 11 CAT scans. That's a lot of CAT scans. So you probably have a lot of cells in your body that's kind of atypical, kind of hanging there. And so you'd be the one they would use the word metastasize, which is ridiculous. You're systemically involved, and then they came in and started burning you. So you just, Liz, take off after it, sweetheart, or you call in and have us help you, but you get your butt moving. Wrong food to detox with, and that's been my point about vegetable matter. She used vegetables. I did too. Jensen did too. Jensen woke up with a high PSA, well, higher than I've ever seen before, and he went on a 3-month carrot juice fast, and that is filmed. I have that film. He filmed it and wrote a lot about that. He got down real small, but couldn't get rid of the cancer. Wrong juice. But he got trapped where I got trapped in. Carrot juice was the juice to fast with. This is a starchy juice that really has no astringent power, and I just, it's always been considered a liver detoxifier. Well, beets are far better. So you have all these old thinking things, and in clinical work, we've learned way beyond these ideas that people have used in the past. In clinical work, we're way beyond veggie juice, because we know that doesn't work. Been there, done that. So that's why we're pushing the fruits on this side, because they do work. Been there, done that. Hey, this is DJ M Fit for Health. This is a good question. Thank you for a million times. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I have a question I think everyone can relate to. How do you explain to people mostly everything they have been taught is a lie without them, one, getting offended, and two, or B, dismiss you for a crazy nut job? Oh man, get used to those kind of words, because you're going to get called some things. But you know what? You stand tall with what you know is true, my dear one, because that's truth. You know, truth is a hard spoonful of whatever for a man to take at this level. Too bad. It's time man starts learning to take it. So one, get strong in what you know is truth. That's number one. Work with it, work it on yourself, and then when you speak from knowledge, you speak from actuality, you speak from experience. That always makes the best teachers and educators. And then, like I said, get out and start talking to the trees, talking to the plants, talking to the birds, and get that mind articulating, and get that down. And then work on people like that. You pretend you have someone in front of you that just doesn't understand what you're saying, and then work that out. Converse with yourself. Converse with an imaginary being. Learn how to articulate what you're thinking, and then when you do, speak truth. Speak from the heart, because truth always wins, guys. Always, always, always wins. And this is pure truth. And so we all have to be willing to change our minds and our conditioned thinking when we discover truth. And this goes for the people you're talking with too. We all have this problem physically on this planet, is we've been taught things that are half-truths. And so because of that, we have assumed them to, we assume a lot. And you see that in law so much, and law isn't about assumption, but boy, do you see that everywhere. The little word assumption, and you can't assume. And so we have to re-educate these people. And again, I lost friends and I got beat up, but through the years you get stronger and stronger and stronger. And those that you do cure up, they'll be your testimony, because they appreciate the fact that you helped them get well, and they're going to tell others. And you just keep building your reputation that way, because you want to stand for truth. And if people don't like it, see ya. I'm going to waste my time. Talk to the hand. The face is not listening. We're over here. Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tear you down. Don't get frustrated, guys, because I've had how many years at this? And I've slept in my vans. I've slept in my RVs. I've slept in my businesses. I've done everything. Been poor as a church mouse most of my life. And it's like, I didn't care. It wasn't about the money. But I had to live that way to survive. So some of you new going out there might spend some time in poverty, or doing other things and doing this. I had to work at the hospital when I started my clinic the last time. I had to work in the hospital, go do a day or two at the clinic, and build my clinic back up. It's just the things you got to do, but don't get frustrated, because people need your help. If you get someone just flatly doesn't care, wants to know, and you'll perceive those kind of people after a while, let them go. It doesn't matter. You don't want to know, I don't want to waste my time, because that's an energy thing. And if you try to work something that doesn't want to work, you lose a lot of energy, you get frustrated, you get unhappy, and it's like, no, don't let anybody take your guy's happiness. You know truth. Be strong with that I know truth. I'm getting myself well. I see others getting well after years of pain and things. We're seeing people get up from wheelchairs and walk. We're seeing all kinds of things. That's truth. That's what needs to be taught. And if people are not aligned with it, well, I don't know. But you do your very best with that, and then dismiss you for a crazy nut, as we all are. This typical world like that, the judgmental mentality that we have here, is unbelievable, And all I can say is be strong with your commitment. You're the healer. You be the healer. Put yourself as the healer and the knower. When I'm talking to people, I can tell who has experience and who hasn't by the way they talk, the way they articulate what they know to be true. And that's what you work on. You know that it's true, learn how to speak that and let it come out. Sometimes when it comes out, it doesn't always come out the way you want it to come out, and it makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about sometimes, when you totally do. It's just another man's failing of mind connection to the physical brain and verbiage. Difficult sometimes, but still work on that. But I understand, I do, and my heart goes out with every one of you with that, and I'm right with you. No, feel me. I'm right with you every time. And you just feed on that. Pick on that energy and know that I'm there with my arms around you and articulate, tell them what you want to tell them. If they don't like it, too bad. But do it with love and put, but put strength and knowingness behind that as well. You can be strong with knowingness and love, but knowingness and truth. I want to tell people, but it's hard when everyone is so brainwashed. It is. And you just have to say, people are an example of what is. So just remember that when you're talking to someone and they dismiss it, then ask them why are they suffering and why don't they go to the medical profession to get well? They already know they can't. And most of them have already been to doctor after doctor after doctor, like this poor other girl, have been there so many times. They radiated her so bad, now she's fighting a bunch of things. Plus, they wasted all her time that she could have been on a grape fast, clean this out. That's why I need all of you to get out in this world and let's make a difference as a one. Not all of us individually, as one. Same thinking all along, because that's what's wrong with natural health. There's so many different levels that people walk in and here's a level, and they're confused. They don't realize that there's so many levels of health or levels of understanding of it. Not like the AMA, who's rigidly taught about the theories of chemistry and things like this, or biochemistry and how all that fits, these short little classes that they have, and you go through endocrinology fast, you go through all these things fast. Pretty soon you've been to learn all this stuff, some not relative at all to health, and pretty soon you're expected to remember all that and know how that works. No. That's not how it works. You really don't get your hands or your experience until you get in and get your hands dirty and get involved. You don't take that on. So you get out there. Don't let that stop you, my friend. You'll be a good healer. Don't let that stop you. These are good questions, and you just be strong with what you know. If one doesn't take it, someone will. Someone's hurting bad enough, and sit down and explain the lymph system. Say, don't you, where people miss is the body sewer system. Explain the sewer system to people. People understand sewer systems and understand your body's lymph system. That we've laid that out and just really look at that. Also, explain the difference between acid and base, or acid and alkaline, as much as you can. You don't get into heavy chemistry with anybody. Just explain there's two sides of chemistry. One is corrosive and one is healing. That's duality. One breaks down, one builds up. And you're involved with the chemistry that's breaking you down. Those are acids. Do you want to know an acid? Just hand them a Coke and say, take a sip. That's an acid. There's ways to bring that consciousness open without intellectualism. Simplicity and pictures and actual props do a lot better sometimes than high intellectual. High intellectualism makes people want to fall asleep because you've lost them. You don't want to lose your client's attention. Any words of wisdom? Yep. Peace and love to you too, bro. Good questions. Good questions. Here's one that said, Dr. Morris, great stuff. Thank you so much. This is Ken. But why does it take years for detoxification? What is the main reason it must take so long to correct lymphatic constipation? Good question, man. God, I wish it didn't. It depends on the person. And it depends on how many dairy products, of course, they've consumed in their life. That's number one. That really shows. When you start looking at the lymph systems of people in the eyes, pretty soon it becomes quite obvious that the dairy consumers are by far the worst off, lymphatically speaking. So that's number one. Number two is that, well, let's kind of go finish that line a minute. Dairy products are so used, so consumed worldwide. It's become a major business. Unfortunately, it is the business of death, because dairy products are so mucus forming. The proteins in dairy products the body does not want, particularly after age 2. Now, though, babies can't even tolerate, never could really tolerate cow's milk. So now a lot of people, smarter people, use goat's milk, which is all ridiculous. If you're going to use any milk at all with your baby and your baby can't breastfeed, then you go to coconut milk. And you can add fruit juices in it. There's all kinds of things. And don't think your baby's not going to be big and strong, because we got a lot of babies to show you that that's not only not true, but the intelligent level, the ability to put round pegs in round holes, is accelerated. And it's amazing. So never feel that. So that's important. Let me see here. The second thing is how weak genetically is the adrenal glands and the kidneys, and particularly the adrenal glands. That's the problem. How low is your blood pressure? You know, if you're in the 70s, 80s, 90s, you've got really low blood pressure, you're going to be a while to kick those kidneys on with the adrenals. There's neurotransmitter issues there, which that's the problem. Your dopamines and acetylcholines are generally low, like your epinephrines and your norepinephrines. This is what you're looking at when you look at low blood pressure. So we have, as we've talked about in all these videos, we have a very serious kidney problem and adrenal gland problem. Look at all the emotional problems. Look at all the emotional issues like MS, Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's, just to mention a few. We're also into the dementias, the Alzheimer's, and all these other things. So there's a ton of neurological problems. Don't forget the COPDers and the neurological diabetics, and you just get in. The nervous system is going down in the humans. So that's another reason we lose the filter. When you understand that the lymph system is miles long, and this deals with acid, so dehydration is a major fact with most people. Their body has become so anionic from being so acidic that basically people are drying out. They're getting dry eyes, dry mouths, cracking, dry skin, and the mucus in the body is getting harder, solidifying. So you're going to start a program that gets into a system miles long that's highly dehydrated, highly acidic, that the congestion is coagulated to a point that it's stiffened and hardened. You ever feel that stiff hardness in the shoulders and the back? That's what I'm talking about. And you're going to get into this system and break it loose. And for those that have been on the antibiotics, especially the sulfa drugs, that even locks you even more. So what we have is a very serious sewer system problem that takes a while to get it to open up, to be honest with you. Some people are 6 months just getting the kidneys to filter. Others get the filtration within a few days or a week. But many are a whole month, 2 months, 6 months. I think it was some guy yesterday we see who's almost a year yet, not filtrating like you should. And that's the problem. That's why when you see these poor souls with the tumors in the breasts or anywhere in the body, if those kidneys can't filter, you can't get the tumor to budge. It's not about anything but that. This is a simple understanding. But I'm telling you, it's so factual and so on point. That's the issue. So if you get with that and you understand that, then it's a process. How long? Well, in level 2, we did the befores and afters to show people on how long it took them to change their eyes. And some several years, but drastic changes in the eyes, occur. So there's another thing. You want to see changes in your eye. You want to see changes in your urine. You want to see changes in mucus coming out of the stools. So you want to see detox. And then you have the people that take detox a little lightly, and they add a little fish like the lady today. She has a little fish and a little this and a little that, and it's like, why even bother coming to see me? Because you're not going to get well. I mean, it's going to slow tug to get well. And it's like, if you're going to take that time, set it apart, tear it up. Like most of you guys. I'm so proud of most of you guys. You're tearing it up. That's what you have to do. No matter what you witness, you're tearing it up. You're going through it. And so you're all getting successes from that. Some are slow, granted. There's some people that can only have vegetable matter for a while. They are so sensitive lymphatically, you have to go way back and slow down. When you're sitting there with a grapefruit or an orange-sized tumor in the breast, I recommend you don't go slow. I recommend you get those kidneys moving, that lymph filtering through those kidneys, and get that off of there, or I'd be pulling that baby with black salve. Sorry, FDA, but we don't like criminal organizations like you, who are trying to stop us from healing ourselves. That's the problem with corruption in the federal government right here in this country. I don't know about other countries using black salve, but generally other countries follow suit with America for some reason. Time to break away from that thinking. Oh, hello, sweetheart. This is Krista. Dr. Morris, I've wrote to you so many times, and I'm sorry for all the questions. No, that's okay, sweetheart. I'm sorry that I can't get back to them as quick as I would like to, but we're getting it. You guys are getting it, so appreciate you being patient with us. I really do. I feel like no matter what I try, I cannot stay raw. And this is a common thing, and don't beat yourself up. You're not the only one. Not everybody can be the Dominics of the world and Dan McDonald's of the world. Not everybody can be those, and those guys will probably shift out of that. Dan, remember, started having some cooked steamed vegetables a little bit to help him pull himself into balance, which was smart. And that's what you have to do. You have to be smarter with what you're doing, you know, particularly when you're getting up here. So the fight for the raw. I'll say this, if you're going after tumors and things like this, where acids are breaking down your cells at a fast pace, you don't really have any choice. If you're just having a little ache or pain there, then you'll be okay with that, where you can do some steamed vegetables at night and stuff. But through the day, hit it with raw fruits and berries and melons. Because if you don't do that and you stay 50% cooked, yeah, you'll feel a little better. It's about all I can say about it. Getting well at that level isn't, you know, it's going to be a long, slow process, actually. So don't beat yourself up, but keep trying. You know, keep trying. The problem we have is the taste of things. You know, you guys seen what it's like around here, the procuring of anything decent. I always say I'm a frustrated fruitarian eating vegetarian because I can't get good fruit around here well. You know, I bought 5 watermelon at Walmart because they were seeded. I've been through 3. Already threw them away. I'm eating a little bit out I can of, but I've got 3 of them already tossed. I've only got 2 left. And that's what's frustrating. They're heavy to carry in, they're heavy to carry out, and yet I love the watermelon. Yash, send me some Indonesian watermelon. Like a truckload. Oh, man. She gets frustrated with herself because I want to be well more than anything. I want to explain to you my diet, basically. Now, I'll tell you this too, sweetheart. Take some time by yourself. Get into yourself. Put your arms around yourself and say it's okay. And give yourself some love. You know, you women are the caregivers. You give love. You need some yourselves. So give yourself some love, and all of us guys will give you all love, and we need to give each other love and support each other on this journey, because it's a tough journey here. Tough journey. So I'm taking baby steps. Well, that's okay. I've been vegetarian for a month now, and I plan on staying this way. So at least I changed my diet a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with baby steps, so don't beat yourself up. You want to be happy, and you want this to feel good. This is a good journey. I'm feeling better. And that's the neat thing about this, sweetheart. Take a little better step and take a little more step, because you feel better each time, and you're getting your body well. And for a woman, you know, you get shapely, you get nice, your periods change. Everything about eating living food is good for a female. She just starts looking good. She gets radiant. This is good stuff. The babies are stronger and bigger. So at least, I always start my day with fruit. Fruit for breakfast always. That's number one. I think if you can get that habit, that's a good habit to get. That's a habit I got. I always want watermelon. I always want mangoes if I can get them. I hope the guys get a bunch of mangoes. They go down there. They go into Pine Island, you think? Get a bunch of mangoes. They're good. Good, good, good. They can get the Jensen mangoes. If they can get that at Mango Factory, I buy them by the crates. They go bad way before I can eat them all, but man, you can't help it because they're so rare. It's good stuff. Jensen always came down here to Pine Island because they have unbelievable mangoes and jackfruits, and the one Vietnamese lady grows lychee. Ooh, lychee. Fruit for breakfast always, also fruit throughout the day, maybe a large salad or a sweet potato or veggies, but more so fruit. But Dr. Morse, at night is when I go back to the sad diet. But you're doing good, sweetheart. You're doing good. That's tremendous what you're doing right there. Just keep working on that night diet. That's the emotional side. That's why I put salads there and some steamed vegetables. That's the emotional time. It's dark. That kind of has some subconscious consequences there. And then you've got families together. So really, this is where they're going to struggle at night. And then in the northern climates, it's cold at night. So all these things like that play a role and an impact on a person, which I understand totally. No matter what I try, I always cheat at night. My question is, I guess, is, well, if you cheat a little bit, okay, honey. I have vitiligo, and sometimes I just want to give this up because I just feel I cannot do this diet. Please tell me if there is any alternative. Now, with vitiligo, dear, I do want you to hit your pituitary gland. That is essential. Or you can't, just a diet alone won't deal with that unless you can get your pituitary healthy with just diet. Now also I want you to think about your transverse colon. I want you to think about your bowels and clean up your GI tract. Remember at the class we showed you how the transverse colon is always related to head things? So you know when you have a vitiligo case, you know that's the pituitary gland, skin pigmentation issues, but you also know that she has to be backed up in that, and then also the transverse colon is that issue. So this is something you really want to focus on, is clean up that gut, because it's not just a vitiligo, it's what can happen as time goes on with these types of bowels and things that produce weak pituitaries. So go after that pituitary with a glandular for sure. You'll have to just let the skin pigmentation change and work on you, but work on that pituitary. Be interesting if her monthly cycles are irregular too, because that's what you would also have a tendency to see with vitiligo, would be a female's menses off, since the pituitary controls the ovarian cycles. So you would tend to correlate a few of those things with pituitary for sure. But go after that, my dear, and do your very best. You're doing quite well. And so with what you're doing now, try to do the best you can at night, and then just add and get a pituitary form. Go after your lymph system, you know, clean up your bowels, get your kidneys and your adrenals, but get on that pituitary, and that'll help you, okay? This is D.R. Baker. I have been noticing these pinhead-sized red spots under my skin. A classic thing, you see that a lot. They are mostly visible on my legs and arms, sometimes on my belly. There aren't a lot of them, however, they never leave. They aren't sore or itchy, just there. I've noticed a slight increase in their number. Well, you got to detox. Get yourself Nova Scotia, Canada. Get yourself detox. Take Parasite M for a couple months and see if they fall off. That generally gets any moles, warts, things like that. Skin tag's very common. You know, we have fermentation, putrefaction in the body. We're high protein eaters, so the body stinks. So things grow on us, in us. It's a nasty mess. Greg Coleman. Hey man, Dr. Morse, your videos, oh thanks. Thank you for that. It's on spirituality. It's so positive. Thank you. I want to put that video we did. I did a short talk up there on spirituality and tried to cover love a little bit there. So I would like to put that on YouTube. I'm afraid it'll offend some of you guys. I don't want to do that, but at the same time, it's time that we all realize that we have to grow in our understanding a little more of how the universe is put together. Well, no matter what you call God, to your own religion or whatever, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about spirituality, which is your love for God and your love for all life, and the fact that you see everyone as your brother or sister is a good step. But then you want to take it deeper and see all things as God manifested, and give due respect to everything for that. At this level, however, God has got itself out of balance with the negative forces so strong, it's trying to get itself back into balance. That's why you all are so important to something much bigger than diets and everything else. And you'll see what I mean in the next couple of years. Thanks, I appreciate your comment there, though. Just had to tell you I had ordered products from you, and your staff there is very good. They better be good or they're going to get it, aren't they? The way they are packed and delivered is very good. I hope so. Thanks, Greg, for that. I'm going to show this to my staff because they love your comments. We try to hire people to the machines, and everybody tries to give love with all the packages that they do, and they try to do their very best. We have a good crew, I think. So we do our very best, but you know, we're in a society with high shipping and all kinds of problems that we face. And in some of the countries, I don't know, do we ship into Holland? You know, you guys aren't on the Codex thing like Sweden. They screwed themselves. Germany screwed themselves. I mean, these governments, I don't know what they're thinking. You know, they got to get away from that World Bank, World Health Organization control of their people's health cares. That's not good. It's just like every country bought into the World Bank, and so now the European Union, now the Euro dollars and everything, and it's all crap. It's all illusionary, you know. Too bad. Scott, does Epigen stimulate the kidney to produce red blood cells? Should it be stimulating bone marrow? And if epigen did stimulate kidneys, then that means kidneys act as glands. The type of education came from kidney dialysis. What do you think, Dr. Morse? I'll give that some thought and get back with you, because I don't think in that way. So I'll give that one to you, dear. No, I think kidneys act pretty much like organs. They're filtration factors. I don't think they work like glands too much myself. I think you're going to find more of the connection in the adrenal glands with epigen and all those sort of things. So the adrenals are definitely the glands. The kidneys are the organs. But they're like the heart. Most organs are just either filtering. Well, of course, now the liver, you can take a look at the liver, and that's a major chemical factory. Yeah, I'll get that. But I'll get back with you on that, because I don't know that thinking that you are saying there. Something I don't even think about. But I think this guy's on dialysis or something. Or you work in dialysis, right? Man, I tell you, remember I told you I had a nurse working in dialysis. You might want to get out of there. A pretty toxic place. But can a leaky heart valve be repaired without surgery using the herbs diet protocol? Even though the doctor says that it needs surgery, can it strengthen or be corrected? We are fearful of the surgery and stage of the game. Love, Paul. Hey, Paul. Well, you know what? Definitely. And you want to get in. I would use the heart formula. I would usually go to the parathyroid glandular and take that with an addition of kelp. And spend, about 2 months on those two formulas. And take kelp on and off as a basic daily hit for calcium and iodine. At the same time, that's the parathyroid. That'll strengthen mitral valves, tricuspids, vascular walls, aortas, everything else. But you want to be able to utilize the calcium, and that's the parathyroid gland. Now, here's the other side of this, though, is that you've got to get the acidosis out of the body. Now, this could be a genetic past, but it's always caused from the same thing. Acidosis always takes calcium out of the body, and therefore you see your valves go, you see your connective tissue go, you see your skeletal system go. So you start to see a lot of things go. And of course, remember, depression comes in when the parathyroid is low. You're losing calcium to acidosis, and you can't put it back. That breeds depression. So, and when you're repairing valves, you're repairing bones, you're repairing connective tissue, you always take that parathyroid for a month or two and use the kelp supplement with it. At the same time, you can pump some green drinks if you want to, but I would definitely take that heart formula too and just start going after that. If your valve is real bad and you need it, if you're having regurgitation too bad, I don't know what to say. But I don't blame him for not wanting surgery, but so see and work on that, and that should strengthen that up better and better and better. Keep yourself away from proteins, because that's really going to create more valve problems. So you have to get totally away from proteins if you're going to rebuild structure. How interesting is that? That proteins makes you lose your structure, and yet they're so readily pushed. Ridiculous. Paul. Oh yeah, you already asked me this. Master Morse, Paul. Scott, one of my dialysis patients, I thought he was a nurse working in dialysis here. One of my dialysis patients is having problems with phosphorus. Now, this is what you're always going to see. And they use phosphorus binders and things like this. You're always going to see two problems in dialysis, universal. You're going to see potassium and phosphorus. Well, potassium is a given because you have the adrenal involvement, and that's sodium-potassium balance, the kidneys involved. So you're always going to see potassium problems, and you can't stay away from potassium foods to correct this. That's not the gig. And yet at high potassium, they're worried about heart attacks and stuff. You got to work through this one, no matter what. Unfortunately, when you start dialysis, you tend to lose your self-urination real quick, quicker than if you hadn't been doing that. I had one guy lost his urination second week in dialysis, which is disgusting, which is concernful about the procedure of dialysis and that effect upon the kidneys itself. Because once you lose complete urination, you're in trouble. You've got to get urination back before you can ever get off of dialysis, because you can't filter. And even the kidneys. This is a case where the kidneys themselves start breaking down. That's when you see your creatines going way up. That means your kidneys are breaking down. You can still lose filtration. It starts with the loss of filtration. And that can happen for years and keep your creatinine below, say, 0.6, 0.7. But as you see 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, you're losing. Your kidneys are going, and now's the time to grab that before you get way up in, 3, 4, 5, or 14, or in the 20s or 30s. So you want to get that. So with the phosphorus, again, why would you eat protein when you're having phosphorus problems? So again, you would never have protein when your kidneys are breaking down. That's what breaks them down in the first place. So you would not want high phosphorus foods. That's a given. And you're going to see that. You're just going to see that as you lose calcium to all this acidosis, you're going to also see excessive phosphorus. Every blood draw she has a phosphorus between 8 and 9. Yeah, I'm sure they're using phosphorus binders on her. And that's okay with me for a while, but just because you don't want to piss anybody off in terms of medical doctors there, while you're trying to get them to get urination back and start getting that road of lowering that creatinine and, pulling all those acids out of the kidneys themselves, and that's a trip. So there's times I've had to order an extra dialysis a week because we were hitting them so hard. The other problem is these juicy fruits are full of water and you're not filtering or self-urinating. You can bloat up a little bit with water. So it's definitely challenging when you're a dialysis patient, particularly one that has lost their self-urination. If you're still urinating on dialysis, my recommendation, if it was me, I'd pull myself away because you're going to get yourself in trouble. Once you stop urinating, it's a whole nother beast of a whole nother color. Everything starts accelerating even more. And you can get your creatinine down better when you're peeing. You can just get urination better. She claims she doesn't eat much and that she is a picky eater. She told me she eats oatmeal and fruit for breakfast, but eating the fruit last. Oh, fermentation. Yeah, I don't know what to say how that would create an elevated phosphorus level having fermentation, but she's definitely getting fermentation. You're right on there. I like Scott. He's right on. Eating fruit after meals, especially after oatmeal, causes right. Would you have anything to do with increasing phosphorus? I don't think so, Scott. I'm trying to think about that. This is a universal problem. And remember, phosphorus is bone matrix predominantly, and that's with calcium. So you're going to see with high acidosis the breakdown of the matrix of things, and so you're going to see higher phosphorus levels. You're going to see higher acids coming out of the body, just even as a detoxification effort, So, and there's probably a lot more reasons out there. But I tell her to get on the fruits, berries, and melons and salads. No protein whatsoever, and get that bun down, too. Believe it or not, you want low ureas. You just really want low proteins in the body, believe it or not. But you didn't say anything about the potassium. That's another problem. So again, sometimes you guys are in situations that require, creativity to work yourselves out of. But we can, and you don't never let that stop you. And Scott, good job. Keep it going in there. Keep working with people if you can, and help them out because your list on dialysis are getting so long. It's unbelievable. We were talking about that in class. Don't fall asleep on a park bench. You're liable to wake up without a kidney in America here. Greg, I am so motivated by you and your videos and felt the need to give back you. Thank you, man. Thank you, Greg. Love you, man. Yesterday I put a card in the mail, and sorry about the spelling and pinship, but it's full of love. Listen, I love all of you guys, and I want to thank you for these cards. I love all of you. Look at that one. Turned a greeting card out of the bear. I love that. Is that cool? You guys are so good. The YouTubers are just cool people. They just come from the world. They're just good people. There's so many beautiful cards we receive here. We just want to thank all of you guys in every way, shape, and form. We just want to thank all of you. And I want to thank all of you for your gifts at the class. That was from the heart. Some of the gifts were just unbelievable. I have not enough love for you guys, to pay you back. So keep watching your dreams because I'm going to pay you back in another way. Some of you are already starting to travel with us, and so keep watching your dreams. Try to fall asleep conscious. Of course, it might keep you awake for a couple of weeks, but then you'll be able to lay the body down and out you go. Just keep working on falling asleep conscious. That was my first ever. I kept trying to fall asleep. Finally, I got to where my body would just go. I would just go. It would just work out pretty good. Joanna, no subject. Hello. Thank you so much for your dedication. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I am learning a lot of new things and also confirming my intuitive. And a lot of these are high spiritual souls like yourself. You're all, wouldn't be to this channel if you weren't. You're not shown things that you're not ready for. Just how God works. You just are not shown things yet. And so now that you have come and opened this door, now you'll get your remedies. Now you're starting to see truth. And we want to open a bigger door for you yet and show you how much bigger you really are than what you realize. I am currently in financial, emotional, and physical dump in need of help. According to what I have learned, I am very toxic, deficient, and inflamed. According to the allopathic world, I have SLE, PTSD, etc. Are those YouTube eye readings free of charge? Absolutely, sweetheart. If so, are you planning on doing more sessions any time? Thank you for... Joanna, I tell you what, sweetheart, call in here to Chris, send him your eyes, and have Chris talk to me, and then give us your phone number. Oh, here's Krista again. Oh, this is a duplicate. Good. I can use that paper for writing paper. Would you be willing to come in to see clients on no. That's a little message to me. Would you be willing to come on a holiday? Would you be willing to come in and see clients? Jennifer, I want to be with those guys. I want to be with the YouTubers. I want to be with our buddies. Where are they now? Did they go to the Busch Garden? You don't know.
Everywhere.
Those guys are crazy, man. But about a bunch of good guys. We had some people from the class come in here. Unbelievable. You guys are good. In Dan 3. Why do I get bubbles in my urine? I always wondered that too. It's always have fuzzy urine. I've seen that myself in different people, ammonias and stuff coming out of the body. Definitely chemistry coming out. I don't know if you have a lot of fermentation in the body. Who knows? I don't always know what those things mean. Kind of like the little white things on your fingers. Bruisings. There's a lot of theories out there. But no one's nailed it down, I don't think. It's different than fungus. Those little white moons, half moons and stuff. Please do a video on this whole candida cure. Oh, yeah. I looked it up, and lufanuron is a pesticide. Oh, my God. This is a pesticide for fleas and an antifungal for plants. People are taking large dosages of this with the intent of healing candida. Holy crap, I never heard this. That's what I get for living in a little bitty town in nowhere land, but still, holy people. Well, I had a lady that got fixated on deworming herself, and unfortunately we got her deworming herself, which we do on everybody, and she started seeing some worms. So she freaked and take a lot more, and then she finally ended up at a veterinarian, got some kind of horse or cow dewormer, and then she just went nuts. They had to put her away for a little while to get her stable because she just freaked right out. She was getting threadworms like crazy. I tell you, man will do almost anything to do that. There's so many herbs that clean all this stuff out of you, and yet people are willing to take a pesticide chemical or a deworming medication from horses and stuff. They are stating that you should eat lots of meat and veggies, but no sugar or fruit. Dr. Morse, please clear up this issue. It does not resonate with me. Peace and love. Well, you know what? Those of us that are the truth seekers have to understand the truth of fungus and what role they play in our society. And it's obvious. We've discussed this many times. And, of course, the role they play is fermentation. The problem isn't with them. The problem is with humans. The problem is people's adrenal glands. If you look at most people, their adrenal glands are down. In actuality, most adrenal glands that are down have cortisol problems. Then you see the blood sugar problems. A lot of times it's not easily readable, but tend to have low blood sugar first and then high blood sugar, hypoglycemia to hyperglycemia. But with that, what that means is that no matter what sugar you consume, whether it's a simple sugar like fructose or glucose, or it's a complex sugar like sucrose, dextrose, or maltose. So either way, you don't metabolize sugars well, and either one, especially the complex sugars, you're going to see real high blood sugars. But even the simple sugars, you get a little of this. But it also means that you can't metabolize these sugars, and so fermentation becomes more real. And so what happens with weak adrenal glands and sugar metabolism problems is sugar that's unmetabolized, and therefore fermentation comes in. And what was it? They just talked about putting fruit on top of oatmeal. Fermentation. Who's going to help with that? You can't keep these microbes out. I don't know what this whole thing about I'm going to kill all the candida in me and I'll be done with this. No, you need to get all the overgrowth and everything out of you, admittedly. But you're always going to have a level of fungus and bacterium in the body that's essential to you. It's how you get nutrients, by the way. God fixed this just right. So when you have a balance of microbes, you get good nutrition. So a lot of your vitamins are created from bacterium and things like this. So this idea, and the same thing with silver, taking colloidal silver. I mean, that you have to be careful about it. Plenty of great herbs for this. Plenty of great herbs. Parasite M, look at all the herbs in Parasite M. You got Paul Diarco, Cat's Claw is good. Definitely your black walnut hulls. All of these things are really well. Tansy, there's just all kinds of great antifungals, antibacteriums. We don't care about the bacteriums. No, really, the fungus that make people happy. The problem is with our diets and with our adrenal glands, not with the fungus themselves. We're blaming them for being the problem when it's us that's the problem, honey. So get on working on yourself. Get your adrenals up to where you're metabolizing sugars. Go to simple sugars instead of complex sugars. I mean, the other thing is we're starch eaters. And we eat starch like crazy. The problem with starch is too much sugar. We can't even metabolize that level of sugar. So we're going to have natural fermentation, like it or not. So if you want to get rid of candida, you get rid of the complex sugars. Simple sugars are a central issue. Remember, we talked about that. You got to get with that understanding that you have to have simple sugars or you won't be on the planet. That's the problem. They're your carbon. But complex sugars the body can't eat. So equate complex sugars with protein because they're both at the same level. They're not usable by the human body. If we go simple proteins, it's simply called amino acids. Simple sugars are simply called fructose and galactose and glucose. So that's at the level we can use them. When we complex all this chemistry, we can't use it. And then you're going to invite more bacterium for the proteins and more fungus for the sugars. So you just have to detox, get your diet straightened up, get rid of these sort of things. Notice that when you have fungus, you create fermented foods, breads and cheeses. That's because these are fermentation people. They love fermentation. They don't like healthy fruit. You can't get mold to grow on a healthy piece of fruit until it starts to what? Ferment. Then you see mold all over it. Fermentation will happen to bread because it's already fermented. You'll see mold growing on bread and cheese way before you see it growing on fruit. So don't blame fruit for fungus. Blame your cheeses and your breads and your adrenal glands. And so simply, defungal yourself. Clean that out. Get your lymph system. Those that have fungus nails and toes, notice you're not going to completely get rid of them until you get your lymph system moving. Remember, your sewer system. In all sewer systems, you have fungus and bacterium. Thank you. That's in your septic tank. That's everywhere. You can see it in a dead animal because you have carbohydrates breaking down, you have carbon breaking down, you've got proteins breaking down. So you're going to have a variety of microbes involved in that process to get us those atoms again. Remember, we need those atoms. Everybody wants to have babies, and you got to have atoms to have babies. So that's the candida cure. The candida cure is don't avoid the foods that make you healthy. Because that's not the problem. Fruits are not the problem. But they do turn everybody on. They do. Fruits light up everything. They turn on everything. They're energetic. They're astringent. They're all kinds of things. So eat your fruit. Take your antiparasitics. Use your antifungals. Herbal antifungals. And you'll be fine. We don't never have a problem with that. We're always going after that. So Don't get confused because it'll keep you from eating the foods that are good for you. This is from Australia, the Down Under. This is Annie. Hello from Australia. Yes, yes, yes. Love that place. Just a beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful people. I am detoxing for the kidneys because I have severe acne. Absolutely. So you notice how many people have severe acne out there? We just got a major, major skin problem. Well, we have a major, major what then? If you say you have a major skin problem, what are you saying? You have a major lymphatic problem. Yep. Remember, your skin is your third kidney. I used to take antibiotics, which cleared some of the acne see what it does is suppress, locks in. But the problem with that, it doesn't expectorate or clean, so it builds. It's like the sleeping giant. So your lymph system builds up subcutaneously, builds up. Lymph nodes slowly swell. Kidneys slowly back up. Lower back starts to go. You start to see all these signs, stiffness and tightness settle into the muscles. You start to see all these signs of lymphatic stagnation and acidosis creeping in. You start getting dry mouth, dry eyes. Everything starts drying out. You start to see all these signs of acidosis where the lymph system's backing up. You know? And then you see the tumors, then you see the cysts, then you see the boils, then you see the pimples, then you see the acne, then you see the psoriasis, and it just goes on and on and on. And then you see the basals, and the squamous cells. I mean, it's just a cycle or a process that gets worse and worse and worse. There's no improvement unless you get in and clean the system out. All these guys are doing is trying to treat something they don't understand, compromising the client way beyond what they understand, and then the client's stuck. Then they have the sulfur from the antibiotics a lot of times, which then creates more fungus. And then it's just a nightmare from hell. Yep, oh yeah, oh yeah. To a certain extent, but I stopped using them once I found out the effects. About a year later, due to the antibiotics, I now have acne all over my shoulders, chest, back, and frequently get pimple-like cysts. Not too sure what they are, in and around my ears. See, this is getting up in her head area. You get your lymph system clean, dear one, because you've got to do this. You don't want to start getting tumors growing on your side of your neck and everything, and that's what's going on. This is already backed up into your brain. So you want to really get your lymph system, get those kidneys filtering, sweetheart, and get your lymph moving. Move those lymphs. Move those lymphs. Move those lymphs. You got to. And clear all this out. It's all clear up once you start filtering your lymph. You start draining. Get your sinuses draining. Start clearing this up. This is starting to get in areas you don't want it to get into, of course. Frequently get in and around my ears, as well as now I have liver gallbladder problems. Well, remember, this is the lymph, and it goes, remember that here's the trunk, so you got to clean up your bowels, but the liver's a branch, the pancreas is a branch, the spleen is a branch. As soon as you get those kidneys filtering, everything starts draining. Everything starts draining, especially as you hydrate. Sometimes people are so dried out, you can filter, but it still ain't draining really because you're dried out, you're dehydrated. Fluids are coagulated, agglomerated. So you work on it, That's why it takes so long to detox. If someone says, I'm going to detox for a week or two, you're barely opening your door, peeking out. So make this a commitment. Yeah.
Your appointment is next? No. Canceling, is that on?
Yeah.
Okay. She had a problem with her wheelchair. Like it was broken, so they've got too much going on trying to get it fixed. And
okay.
He's not back yet and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So we're going to reschedule him.
Okay.
Free the
Okay,
afternoon.
Good. Give him my love.
Huh?
Give them my love and tell them to start eating fruit. I'm going to come up and kick their butts.
Tell them in there. They're watching you.
You start eating fruit, you two, and get out of those wheelchairs, or I'm going to come kick you out of those chairs. Yes. We have a couple of MS, a man and a wife with MS, and they're struggling to do the raw. But they're in the cold country, but they're struggling to do the raw. But these are good people, and I'm just trying to get them to get a hold of that fruit diet and run with that. It's tough for some people, but they're both in a wheelchair. My God, get them out of that chair. So get out of your chairs, guys. Let me see here. So we got to clean up that liver gallbladder. Now you can use a formula to help with that a little bit, the liver gallbladder formula, but you want to get into the kidneys, the adrenals, clean up the GI tract, just the kind of protocols we laid out here. Get going on this thing and clear yourself up, because these are acids that you're seeing on your skin. And after a while, they'll break down your skin, even more and more and more. The acne tends to flare up a week before menses. Well, you know why that is? What's menses? It's an acid experience initially. It's estrogen. So estrogen excites everything, and everything turns on. Woohoo, woo! It's like fruit. Turn everything on. It gets everything moving. It's not an acid enough to destroy so much. I don't know. Someone find me the pH of estrogen. Haven't been able to find it anywhere. And so whenever, remember, we've talked about it. It's all about pH variances. And at each level, something takes place. You have activity, initiate activities. So at each pH variance, you have different things happening. Of course, the lower the pH or the higher the pH, the more serious reactions you have. You break down at the higher ends of the pHs. We like more toward the middle and favoring that alkaline side. If not, then we're falling into the acid side, and that's where we see all the problems there. She's a full-time student, and I am doing this by food alone. Well, if you're going to do this by food alone, then you've got to get up on a grape fast and a lemon juice fast. If you're going to do this by food alone, you've got to resort to the fasting side of this to clean this up, okay? Because that's the only way you're going to be successful, is get in there and go on a 10-day grape fast, see how you do. 10 more days, see how you do. 10 more days, keep pushing it, do the 10-day, 20-day Stanley Burroughs lemon juice fast. That's okay with me. Those sort of things, if you don't have the herbs, you're going to have to get up the way nature does it. And you might even do just a tad bit of water here, 2 or 3 days here, 2 or 3 days there. But get up in there and get some deeper detoxing, and that's just the level you want to go. I struggle to find organic, especially watermelon. No kidding. Forget organic all the time, dear one. You don't wait. Don't let that stop you from going on a grape fast. Get veggie, wash, do your best you can. I understand the difference, but you can't. We can't use an excuse that we can't do the diet because we can't get organics. That's not acceptable. So, do you have any suggestions for me? I know it is not. I know it's not pointless, but how long should I expect the results? If you do it by food alone, settle in for a year. Settle in for a year, because it's going to take you that. And that's okay, though. But get moving on that. Use the fruits, and use the fruit fasts. And then break them and have a salad, and bounce out a little bit and go back again. Keep digging with the fruit. Fruits are like the shovels, or like the backhoes. They dig. Vegetables are good old boys. Hanging around, here's some goodies, here's some nutritions. They make everybody have it, but they're not diggers. And that's where the fruit have it over the vegetables. So you got to go that way. I could probably afford to buy 1 herb bottle a month. Which one would be the best? Heal All capsules. Heal All capsules. That'd be the one. Or get the teas. They're cheaper. And use the tea. But I think I would use the capsules 2-3 times a day at least. They got a little herb for everything in there, and I think that'd be your best bet. I watched one of your, this is Sam K. I watched one of your videos on edema. I am experiencing a bit of it. Especially in the morning around my eyes and fingers, and in the morning around my ankles. So this goes back obviously to the kidneys again, and moving toward that kidney failure syndrome. That means you're at night, when you're laying, you really don't have that activity level to kind of help move the lymph. Remember, the lymph moves like a tortoise and the blood like a hare. So it's a tortoise and hare thing. And so activity is good for the lymph system if you're filtering. And that's the problem. This shows that you're not filtering, and this shows that you're holding water because you're too acidic. The ankles is a giveaway, but any edema in the body is a giveaway with that. So you really got to tear into your adrenals and kidneys, get that filtering, and get that water out of your body, and you'll be good with that. But again, adrenals and kidneys, key. You want to do a lymphatic formula with that, and clean up your bowels with that. but my kidney blood work was perfect, and pH strip always shows my pH to be alkaline. So here's the problem. What is your blood kidney work? What is your creatinine in your kidneys? And remember, you can have 0.6 or 0.7 creatinine and still not filter. You'll see that all day long. However, if your creatinine is closer to 9 and 1, you're in trouble. You're losing your kidneys now. Even if it's 1 and that particular lab has 1.25 is high and normal. If you're a lab and you have over 0.8 is high, or even 0.9, which is a lot of the better labs, anything above 0.9 is serious, in my opinion. And so any lab, and some labs have 1.25, 1.35. It's like, oh, no, 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 no. So you look at that again. You remember, if you're filtering acids out of the kidneys, your urine should not be alkaline. The fact that your urine is alkaline is another proof that you're not filtering. It's just proof correlated with the edema. Both of those tell you right there you're not filtering. You don't have to go any further than that. You're not filtering. So you want to get your adrenals up to get your kidneys filtering, and then you'll start to see that swelling stay out of the body. And that's important because that's how congestive heart failure is created. That's how pulmonary edema is created. That's how you drown. You know, so you really want to get that moving out. And at night, you don't move lymph well. So at night is when you back up. You're more sick. You wake up with the mucus in the eyes. People are cleaning their tongues with tongue scrapers and stuff. And that shows you how backed up you are. You want to know how backed up you are? Fast the night before or that day before and wake up and take a look at the color of the tongue. If it's brown or dark, not good. Thick white, still thick mucus in the body. Red split, no. High inflammation. So there's use the tongue as a diagnostic tool and you'll see. That's the old ways of the natural hygiene. They put you on a water fast, and the tongue, of course, gets coated to reflect the toxemia of the bowel. And then as it clears up, then they break the fast. A pink tongue means a break fast. So those two things, could it be from lack of exercise? I injured both knees skiing and can't exercise at all. Well, that's the point. If you injured your knees in skiing, how come they didn't repair themselves? Remember, when you have an accident, your body's supposed to repair itself. Why doesn't it? And what you're telling me here, Sam, is that your kidneys aren't filtering and you're too acidic, and so your knees aren't repairing themselves either. That's not exercise, it's filtration. I mean, that's an adrenal experience. In fact, I can barely walk right now. See? And Sam, get with this because your hips are next, buddy. And your prostate's right there, too. Have your PSA checked. That'd be important the next time you do blood work. Check your prostate there. See what that is, too, because bye-bye kidneys, bye-bye prostate, and bye-bye ovaries and uterus. So those are the things you've got to get your kidneys filtering. Make sure that pH of that urine is around 6, somewhere between that, 6, 6.5, and make sure there's sediment. Remember the old, which we got a kick out of this in the class, the old sediment in the urine syndrome. See how you guys give us tools to use? Oh, that glass will go down in infamy. Good job, guys. What are we doing for time here? Oh, okay, we're doing pretty good. Now that everybody call along. Dr. Morris, what's your opinion on oil pulling, neti pots, and sun gazing? Well, I love neti pots. Sun gazing, you got to be careful not to get a burn from it. I like indirect sun. I'm always out working in the sun when I can, or I'm on the porch somewhere. Indoors is not a place for me except at night. So I really like getting indirect sunlight and sun on me. I don't sun gaze. I think you have to be careful about that to some extent. You'll burn your eyes and so forth. The oil pulling, never done it. Never done it, and to be honest with you, I'm probably not into that. I'm into proper lymph drainage as it should be, or pulling tumors with salves. But if it works in it, I don't know. Have you ever done oil pulling? No. Yeah, me neither. So I can't help you with that one, man. I just don't know enough to give you a good take on that. Watch. It's not movies, but MOIVIES 1 2 3. Dog on the hay. Reminds me of the old farm days. I put up so much hay. All my uncles even had farms. If I stay overnight with a cousin that's on a farm, and of course there's always something to do on a farm instead of playing. I am hoping you could read this and get back to me. Why do people have low or very low vitamin D levels despite they are outdoors every day? You know what? That's the thing, Kim. And you notice that you see low B12s, low Ds, and low iron with weak adrenals. Do you ever notice that? You'll see that every time. Work on your adrenals. You might see something interesting. Also clean out your liver and gallbladder too. And I think you'll see a change in that. Hey, Steve. This is Steve. I've just had, oh my God, thoracic surgery, ascending aortic aneurysm. Holy crap, Steve. In an induced coma for 7 days. Holy Steve. Now I have to take warfarin and other drugs that I'm wondering if I can do without. Well, they're trying to keep his blood thin. That's not the idea, to keep the blood thin. The idea is to keep the blood healthy. And enzymatic rich food keep those blood cells separate. But also cleaning the liver, the spleen, and refurbishing the blood is vital to that. Keeping that pH perfect. Get away from proteins, which will create coagulation. You know, get away from these sort of things. High fruit, berries, and melons keeps that blood low. Plus, it enhances the integrity of the vascular wall. So, with an aneurysm or a herniated repair, you want to go to the parathyroid gland, number one. So, you go to the parathyroid gland and you add kelp there. You're getting that involved calcium, utilize calcium. You'll start strengthening connective tissue in the wall. Even from surgery, you still gotta, and this, you can't just look one place. You gotta think systemic here. Gotta think whole body, because this thing's a whole body problem. So you want to get into the parathyroid stuff and get that strengthened up. Fruits are very, very the top in vascular wall integrity, heart integrity, flavonoids, of course. That's what you're looking for, which is where the vitamin C's come from. The CoQ10s come from, all this sort of thing, the cribs. I've taken in upon myself to eliminate statin drugs because I couldn't find studies that indicate a correlation between LDL and the incidence of atherosclerosis. All I can say is that, you know, you just remember about the acid-base scenario. And in an acid environment, what the body has to do to survive. Because remember, acids are corrosive. So nothing survives well on an acid or in an acid medium. And that's for sure the cells of the human body. So there is an effort by the human body to keep an acid-base balance. You've got your adrenal steroids, you've got LDL or HDL. HDL is used more for phospholipids, but you've got LDL, you've got calcium, you've got edema, and you see all these things with these questions. You start to see the calciums, you start to see the cholesterol, you start to see these questions come up. And all this is showing that the acid side of life is dominating in the human body. And with that breeds all the cancers, all what medical doctors loosely call diseases. That all fits under acidosis primarily. There's some alkalosis issues, yes. But the AMA needs to look at that as more rare and acidosis more normal, which is what's going on, and get away from acid chemical medications. Most pharmaceuticals are acids. And there was another reason why you see the exacerbation of symptoms and more symptoms. You know, I was telling you guys on TV the other night during class, they have a new drug out, Vitality or some ridiculous name like that. And only had a 6-week trial, probably in some corner MD office in Moose Jaw, Alaska. And so they put it on the market. It already is causing stroke and fatal events, or death, basically. And it's only had a 6-week trial, and the FDA allows that kind of stuff. And the FDA is willing to say that we don't have a right to talk about our cures or our people that have testimonials. FDA, we're coming, baby. You're going to have to swallow a big spoonful and tell all the people of the world why you're allowing all this corruption and all these deaths. And you're going to have to explain it in ways that all of these YouTubers can understand it. You're going to have to explain why we get cures all over the place and all you guys do are involved in the killing machines. It's horrible. It's disgusting. It's revolting. We're allowing that. You know, I'm telling you, these people got to go. Gotta go. Here's one, Steve. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're on the same one here. I'm passionate about that because I'm tired of criminals, and they're all over the place, and the governments are full of them. You know, the I know betters, and oh, it's for the money. Yeah, use this drug. It only kills 5% of the people. Yeah, right. Okay, so he's eliminated statins, which don't stop cholesterol plaquing anyway. That's bogus. Damages the liver because it controls liver production of cholesterol, so that's a problem. So there's another thing. Great moneymaker for the pharmaceutical companies. Holy crap. Oh, such out of balance, such out of control. And you're right. This is a good guy. He's starting to wake up here. Dr. Morse has open. Oh, thanks, man. My major concern is my notice of a decline in memory, and I'm a little anxious about it. Can anyone help? Upper circ, brain and nerve. Upper circ, brain and nerve. Upper circ, brain and nerve. Get the bowels cleaned up, drain the sinuses, get all this acidosis out of your body, and you're on the road to Wellville, baby. I'm going to play her tapes on the line. I don't know if Chris has got them up yet, but boy, do we have some good music. She is so good. I tell you, I'm a blues kind of guy, and this music is just incredible. And this is Shannon. She was there at the, and I didn't know she could sing so good. She's a Bonnie Raitt to me, but she's got a well-built tribute, and it is super good. It is just super good. You know, it is really good. So it's got me rocking. I played it all the way home from class. That's one song's How to Get from Hellville to Wellville, and the other talks is Detox, Alkalize, and Regenerate. That was a good song. She's good. She's good. Like I said, I'm going to pass that on to Mutt and to another producer called Rent Lawrence. They're going to get a big kick. Raw foodists. They're going to get a good kick out of it. They might want to produce her a little bit if she's into that. I have gained so much knowledge. I have to pass it on. Thank you. Thank you. The reason for my message is I have a cousin named Mandy who is 20 years old. Around the age of 12, she started losing her vision until it deteriorated to being closely blind. 20 years old. Jesus. Unfortunately, the bad news did not stop there. This got worse, and with more tests and more medications, it has been declared that her brain is actually shrinking, and the blindness was a factor in something much bigger. Oh. She now has been diagnosed with something called Patterns disease. People are starting to lose faith because it was said that she will not beat this and will in fact succumb to this disease, this dreaded disease. I know of the power of the raw diet and herbal healing, and I'm very curious if there is anything further you can tell me that I can pass on to my family. They have traveled to different doctors, and I am sure they will keep an open mind to whatever you have to say. I understand how busy you are. Oh, don't worry about that again. Thank you so. Okay, thank you so much. This is Caitlin Day, New Brunswick, Canada. Hey, sweetheart, listen. Think about this. There's only two sides of chemistry. In the human body, there's only two major fluids, and the rest are cells. When you see shrinkage or hypertrophy, enlargement or shrinking, enlargement is where you're holding fluids initially, like we've been talking about earlier here, where you see swelling. But the shrinking is a much more serious problem. This is extreme acidosis and dehydration. And of course, that means the breakdown of cells. So, number one, you get this girl on a raw fruit, berry, and melon diet, number one. Number two, you get into the kidneys and the adrenals, and you start honking and getting this lymph moving, get on the lymph system. Get into this gut. Start reaching, cleaning this gut out, and this will start pulling and draining. I would candle her ears, start opening some doors here. You could neti pot some herbs, but candle these ears, try to get this sinus to break loose. And at the same time, upper circ and brain and nerve. Upper circulation, brain and nerve. And you're also moving on the lymph, you're in the kidneys, you're on the adrenals. And then just fill out a questionnaire and see what else problems that she's having. This extreme acidosis, but at 20 years old, In today's world, you're going to have extreme kidney and adrenal problems, leading to systemic acidosis, leading to systemic dehydration, leading to shrinkage and the breaking down of the tissues. And that's just what she's in. The only remedy, not medication, nothing else, is get these acids out and start a rehydration process where the fluids rehydrate, where cells pick up and are regenerated, and the body can get rid of those that have been damaged. Upper circ, brain and nerve, mandatory, but go into and do the regular detox. Get into the kidneys, get into the adrenals, clean up that GI tract, and you'll stop this and you'll build her back up and she'll have a life. If not, you can't stop this any other way. There's no treatment based for this, and it isn't a disease. It's acidosis at its worst. So get in there and fix this up and she'll be okay. But this is what we're seeing in 20-year-olds. That's why I'm a fighter, because these kids are in trouble. And I don't know, people my age are mainly at fault. And also my parents. Nobody was listening. I let these governments rule the people. That's where the people messed up. You never let your government gain that much power over the people. This is Faye Power. I'm sorry to bother you with some questions. You're not bothering me. I'm here for you guys. I love you guys. I want to see you all get well. We're a team, and we have to change this planet. It's gotten too bad. It's just too out of balance. And we're the light givers. We're here to bring the balance in, like it or not, people. I know how extremely... Okay. I'll try and make this short for you. I'm a woman 56 years old. I eat one cooked meal a day. That's not bad. This includes meat. And do have some dairy. Stop. No. Cut. Trash can. Thank you. I can't seem to give it up. Oh, yes, you can. No guts, no glory, lady. You got to win this, woman. You got to get rid of these things. No matter what you're about to tell me here, you got to get rid of these things. And do it just once a week then. Go to once a week. You know? I also drink 1 to 2 nights a week. I'd rather see you go drinking than to go eating dairy or meat. You know, which is the worst? Dairy or meat versus some alcohol. Dairy or meat. Pooh! Get rid of it. You can always go to organic wines and stuff. It can sometimes be heavy drinking. Well, honey, I mean, you got to get happy with yourself. You know what? I do some exercise every day, so she's working on herself. The problems I have are vaginal prolapses. Okay. Use the Heal tea and start douching. All right, number 1. Number 2, parathyroid. Think of parathyroid and kelp. And use those 2 formulas to start working on correcting the connective tissue problem that you're facing. At the same time, remember, you're going to open up those kidneys get the adrenals going, get the kidneys filtering, so you can move these acids so you stop losing the calcium, which is compromising connective tissue integrity vaginally. But it probably is systemically as well. If you look around, you'll probably see some spider veins coming, varicose veins coming, little hemorrhoids, fingernails could be better, that sort of thing, sagginess, you know, that sort of thing. I do not want to get surgery. Would your formula for prolapse conditions help this? It will. And you could actually add the prolapsed organs in with some Heal tea and douche with that and start strengthening that vaginal wall. But why are you losing the integrity of that wall? And the why is going to take you to the lymph system and acidosis. Always ask why. And again, go back to the fact that there's only 2 sides of chemistry and 2 fluids of the human body and cells. And then that why can be looked at within this context, and then it becomes quite apparent. Acne rosacea. Okay, so you're involved lymphatically, sweetheart, all the way up in the head. So it's that same acid that you're seeing on the face that's also vaginally, because what's your vaginal wall made out of? Cells and fluids. What's your cheek made of? Oh, cells and fluids. You know, then you can go on. What's your brain made of? What's your liver made of? What's your heart made of? Your same thing everywhere. The problem is 2 fluids flow systemically all through you. My skin is also very dry. Very dry means dehydration. Dehydration means acidosis. Acidosis means you're not filtering from the kidneys because your adrenal glands are not allowing your kidneys to filter, and you have kidney weakness to caboot. I have really bad mood swings, okay, so the adrenals are down big time, so she has anxieties and mood swings that way. And if she has a parathyroid down because of the lack of connective tissue integrity, you're going to have mood swings that way. You're not going to, and I think this is why you see she drinks heavily maybe a couple of nights. You can't get rid of the meat thing because she doesn't love herself enough. She's got a parathyroid weakness, obviously, and that's, remember I told you about the thyroid, parathyroid. This is the gland of how I care for myself. How I see myself. And a lot of you guys don't love yourself enough, not from the ego standpoint, but just from the point that you're a vehicle, you're an expression of God here. Why do you think God put you here? That's putting himself here, or it here. So you're the vital link to the all. We're all part of the all. So you're just as important, sweetheart, as everything else. Don't sell yourself short here. So get your adrenals up, get your parathyroid up, and that's going to shift you out of these mood swings. Get the candida cleaned out of the body. It's going to help you too, which can affect some of my relationships. I stress about the smallest thing, and I get very angry and anxious. You need to detoxify yourself, and I was getting ready to say liver, but here it is. I get cirrhosis. Cirrhosis on my legs, which I am putting a medical cream on it. You know what? You'd be better, sweetheart, if you forget about medical creams and medical this and medical that. Those guys only get you into trouble worse. Start looking at what nature has to offer for you. Nature has a much better plan than man does. Man doesn't have a plan. Man doesn't even know what causes things. So you're going to people that don't know what causes things and using a pharmaceutical cream that you don't know. So you're adding to your lymph toxicity within that local region. So get your get your lymph moving. That's just what this is telling me. Your adrenals are down. Your parathyroid is down. That's just what this is telling me. Get up on do something at that night besides meat. Use baked sweet potatoes. Use steamed vegetables, vegetable soups. Use something besides the meat and dairy. Definitely get rid of the dairy, or you ain't going to change a thing here. You're not going to change the acne. There's no way. You got to get rid of protein and dairy to get rid of this rosacea stuff. I used to have it so bad it would split and bleed. Could you please advise me what formulas I need to take as I want to get back into good health? That's what you need and want to be happy. And you deserve to be happy, sweetheart. Thank you so much for taking the time. You're welcome. Love to you, dear. And that's what I'm saying. You got to go on and get to your kidneys and everything else and get all that opened up and get your lymph moving. You can use hot and cold compresses to the face. Believe it or not, kind of scrub this and use hot and cold and pick this or however you want to get all this sewage out of these cheeks. Because that's what it is. It's acid sewage. And same thing vaginally. Use the Heal All tea. And you can add 3 lung tea in there. Start drawing and pulling a little more. Clean that wall. But remember, you're losing the connective tissue integrity there. You want to get that back. And that's tied into a little bit of depressive type thinking. And that is, again, parathyroid and thyroid. And with a rosacea, you might even have some pituitary problems. You have to look at that. If your menses is irregular, I'm throwing some money in on the pituitary there. This is from Kathy. Kathy. Where's this sweet thing from? Oh, Cato. I don't absolutely love you. Absolutely love you too, Cato. What do you teach and how you teach it all to all of us. Thank you so much. Trying, but I tell you, you guys are a bunch of great people. I don't know how to tell you. I mean, you are the light of the worlds. You're the souls willing to step up and change, to stand up for truth and love and integrity and all that. And that's what this world needs. It needs to have role models. And you guys are great role models. You're healers, coming in, giving the love and the God force. You know, you're walking in a very sick planet. Very sick. Even the governments are sick. The medical people are sick. They're all sick. And you got to get this and exude this health and this beauty and this love that you all are anyway. And just getting on a good diet cleans all that up and you're good, you know. I have a friend that is in her early 70s that is a diabetic. 2 shots a day, hypothyroidism and high blood pressure, and also has a pacemaker. All right, so you want to get, she's probably on Synthroid or levothyroxine or Armour or something, T4s, T3s, whatever. But I like the glandulars, of course, so you want to get her on a thyroid glandular is what I would do. This is what I do on myself. I'd give myself a thyroid glandular, get my thyroid up, and I'd also look at my parathyroid. Thyroid controls heart rate, and of course her heart rate was real low. That's why the pacemaker. Pacemakers are set at 60 beats a minute. She obviously went below that. She could have had atrial fib, not said here, but pacemaker, so that's the thyroid. And the parathyroid can affect the electrical activity of the heart and throw into atrial fibrillation. With that said, she's a diabetic, so you know immediately it's her adrenal glands. So you know immediately she's not filtering. She's got kidney and adrenal problems. She's a diabetic, so she has blood sugar problems. Her high blood pressure is another clue to kidney and adrenal weakness, right? So here you go. You got proof right there that she's got kidney problems. She's got adrenal problems because she has blood sugar problems. She's got thyroid problems because she has a pacemaker. So her endos are down. Well, what makes cells go down? Well, genetic memories, yep, but lymphs. So she needs to get her lymph system going, use your things. Now, I still don't know whether pituitary has a little bit of involvement here. With a woman, you can tell by her menses. Or if you have vitiligo or something like that, or you're short or too tall. All these things show growth hormone problems, and that's how we can look at that. You wet your bed too long as you're a young child. Things like this will take you to the pituitary gland. She has been extremely tired and weak for about the last 3 months. Well, she's got a thyroid down and she's got adrenal glands down. So where does she get her energy? From herself. That's the only place left. So, you know, important that she get in the fruits and get the carbon going, get the oxygen going. She's almost 70, so that's where your kidneys start really failing, so she got to go after her kidneys here. Just about every test there is out there in the medical community, this is too easy for her to go to too many medical doctors. This would be shameful for a medical doctor not to get this one. Excuse me, there's easy and then there's easy. And to no avail. They cannot figure out what is wrong. Oh, God. Just wanted your thoughts and suggestions on this. She's a beautiful person. I hate to hear that she is suffering like this. Well, Cato, just fix her up. I mean, this is not going to be a bad case to fix her up. Get her kidneys going so she doesn't lose them. Her adrenals up again. Get her thyroid up. Use a thyroid a glandular, probably a 150 to start. If you're already on Synthroid or Armory, go to your medical doctor. Have them help you. If you don't have any luck there, then you have to take responsibility on your own. To take responsibility on your own when you're on a hormone or steroid is the longer you're on it, the longer the titration. Titration means you go off slowly. You titrate off slowly. So for me, I would be doing a thyroid glandular, say 150, I would be doing 1 3 times a day, and at the same time, I'd be cutting my Synthroid in half if it was me. Or I'd ask my medical doctor to help me do it, but, you know, sometimes they don't get it. So, you know, take responsibility for your own actions. It's your body. And work on that and use your basal temperatures to see where you are with that too. She could probably use a little racing of the heart anyway. I mean, on a pacemaker like that, it shows how low that thyroid got. So she could have got pretty cold here. So you can work her back to a state of health. Clean up the bowels, get into kidneys and adrenals. Those bowels are going to clean up the pituitary and everything else, allow the thyroid to drain and get that up, and you get her back. I don't care how old a person is. You can get them back here. So I think this is a pretty good video there. Holy moly. I mean, you guys have such good questions, so don't feel bad that you're asking me these, because this is how we educate everybody, and I appreciate it. I'm just apologize to you that I've been so busy with the class, I haven't had a chance to get back with you, and I do greatly apologize with that. This is Susie. And my mom's knees is what she has on here. Hello, and thank you for all the videos and advice you give. Thank you, sweetheart. Love you, dear. Thank you so much, Susie. My mom had both breasts removed because of cancer about 17 years ago. Holy crap. You know, and had many lymph nodes removed on her right side. As a result, she has lymphedema in her right arm. Yeah, they took too many damn lymph nodes out, and, you know, these guys, they just got to get with this. Holy crap, all these poor people. Although that is not why I'm writing at all at this time. She is 77 years old, and she's in kidney failure. Well, here we are again at the door of the kidneys. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's over and over. It's in our faces. It's the kidneys. It's also the colons. It's eliminative organs. And we have to go with those and the glands that control that. So you can see how simple this is becoming, and you're seeing it everywhere. And this is what kills most people's kidney failure. That leads to congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, swelling, edema. We were talking about that man earlier. Absolutely. Although her kidneys are at her last appointment 28% function. They have been as low as 18. That is also not why I'm writing. I just thought you might want to know what I'm up against. My mom has severe pain in her knees. Why wouldn't she? Why would she not have pain in her knees? And the next thing, it'll be in her hips, because her kidneys aren't filtering. That's why she's in kidney failure, because they're not even filtering themselves anymore. I don't know what her creatinine is, but it's probably getting up there, dear. So, you got to get your mom's kidneys filtering. Go after those adrenal glands with a glandular. Get those kidneys with a couple of kidney formulas. Kidney number 1 capsules, kidney number 2 liquid. Matter of fact, we're getting into kidney number 3, and the kidney number 4 is coming in. All our new ones are coming in now, and the glycerins are here. These students tried them at school. Kicked their butt, didn't they? I said a half a dropper full, only a half a dropper. Oh, no, I'm macho guy. And bam, see what happened to one guy? Kicked his butt. Bam, bam. These are strong. So this is all good. You get in there, you get her kidneys going, you get her adrenals up, get her kidneys filtering. This is going to start pulling this edema. It'll also start moving these acids out of the knees before she loses her knees, because pain's the first start of the process of decay from acids. So it's a little warning for her to take care of herself and get this going. She's 77. Clean all this up. You'll get her kidney function back, get her adrenals back, clean out her bowels, and your mom is going to live a long life. You know, so you just get into those tissues, Susie, and be the healer, woman. Let your mom view this, and mom, listen to your daughter. She knows best. Absolutely. She knows how to pull you out of this, where most other doctors doesn't even know what causes it, which is ridiculous. Holy crap. Here's one with brain herpes. Yeah, I haven't spoke about brain herpes because I've never heard of it. I mean, but makes sense, because the body, you're systemic. So your herpes in one place, you're going to have herpes viruses all over. I mean, it's just like HIV and anything else. These are just virals. I'm rescinding this question for TJ. Okay, let me see here. Dr. Morris, I haven't heard you speak about brain herpes. I'm wondering if you have any success detoxing it out of the body. Well, you can detoxify any of these virals out of the body, but it's interesting that there is brain herpes. I had not heard about this before. We don't hear about everything here, but wow. Wow. But it just shows. Now remember, herpes is a proteolytic viral, so it's just, they're all that way, though. Their job is to attach to weak cells. So when you see the expression of herpes, that means you're way too acidic and you've got weaknesses like shingles. Now, shingles happens when you have your myelin sheaths, that's those nerve rings in the eyes. So when you guys see the eyes and you see the nerve rings, that's a candidate for shingles right there. Depends whether they've had the smallpox vac or they've got genital herpes or they've got something like that. Bam. This is going to get them. I'm writing this question for TJ, a 30-year-old male. Poor guy. I would live on parasite M at the same time and get my kidneys and adrenals going and start getting rid of the culturing medium. Because in a viral, we're working about the cells now. So we want to clean out the sewage so the cells can get strong, so viruses can have nothing in it, but you're going to detox the viruses out too. But you got to realize this is about cells and the integrity of cells, especially if you see expressions of activity. If not, they're dormant. You won't even know you have herpes. Following this encounter, he was very ill, sensitivity to light, numbness in some of his limbs. Oh, it's sad stuff. But he's got a lot of acidosis in the brain, man. And this is where you have to get after him. You got to get those kidneys and adrenals, start him to detox that head area. Candle those ears, get the sinuses to drain, whatever you can. Clean up his bowels and everything and get all this acidosis out of there. And then everything is dormant. If you can't get the herpes out, but you'll get them out. They come out. And so go that route. And that's the only route you can, because it's the only way you can get viruses out of the body that I know of. Antivirals are wicked, especially pharmaceutical antivirals. TJ was under a lot of stress a year ago, so that even weakens the nervous system, shuts down the adrenals, and causes low neurotransmitter problems. So you just start losing your thing. He contracted brain herpes from a sexual encounter. Following this encounter, he is very ill, but isn't that sad? Well, you know what? Detox. You'll win the game. It'll be done. He'll be clean, and it's all good. Metatest did not detect HSV1, and his MRI was negative, but based on his research, he believes brain herpes, a.k.a. herpes encephalitis, in his diagnosis. Well, it just shows acidosis of the brain. And whether it's meningitis, encephalitis, it doesn't matter. It shows acidosis of the brain and the lymph system, and that you want to move out of there. That'll move the virals out. If there is virals involved, it can be just acidosis, probably a viral acidosis. But still, clean that out and you'll be good. Today is still struggling cognitively. His eyes are dry. And Flo, see, his eyes are dry. He's so acidic that he's dehydrating in the eyes. He's getting floated. He's getting some detachment going on. No. He's got to get this acidosis out of his head area. Don't even think virals. Think acidosis. Think lymphatic system. Work on that, and you won't have to worry about anything else, okay? Very important to do this. I would probably use the eye wash and just kind of get that blood and lymph moving in the eye so it doesn't break down so much. At the same time, you could take some internally and then go after upper circ, brain, and nerve. Upper circ, brain, and nerve. At the same time, you're going into the kidneys, the adrenals. You're going into the GI tract. You're moving lymph. You're cleaning. And that's what you have to do to pull this guy out of this. He had a high calcium level and a creatinine level. See right here. His creatinine level. You guys are good. You see how you guys are learning these things? I'm telling you, you guys are good. He already gave me this. He has a high calcium level. That's not good. But he has a high creatinine level, a creatinine level of 1. That's just in kidney failure, man. This is what we've been talking about. This whole coursework here on this YouTube site is about the kidneys and adrenals and the control of the lymphatic system, which is the control of the body sewer system, or the acid waste from cells, and what those acid waste from cells do to the cell when you don't get rid of them. Like anybody living in sewage. Not a really pretty picture, but it's a serious picture that we're all involved in here. He also has a high C-reactive protein. He's inflamed. He's acidic. And that's all that is. Back that around, and you'll be able to pull your buddy out of this, and he'll have his life back. What would you recommend they do? This terrified minds. Oh, yeah, and dementia. Well, Tracy, honey, those are two things to worry about. Exactly. Blindness and dementia. Those are the two things where he's going. No question about it. So, sweetheart, get on your friend there and get him cleaned up, and you'll be good, and he'll be a happy fella after all this is done. A little restrictive in diet and stuff, but you know what? This is a serious issue. So, listen, I've got to run, you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for taking your precious time and watching these videos and learning. You're just such a beauty, each and every one of you. Get your glands in order so you appreciate yourselves, because you're what makes life happen, So get your health together. You know we love you. Watch your dreams. And may the blessings be to every one of you. Bye-bye.